Hello. Today I'm going to discuss the Washoe County School District Distance Learning Packet of the 8th week, and it's the third packet in the second week. Okay, so the way it opens up, like this is kind of brand new with this packet, but you have a weekly planner. You're more than welcome to use it to kind of guide your student or your child and yourself through the packet. If you write down any materials that are needed or any questions you have for your teacher. Okay, so that's definitely getting organized and situated through the week. Okay, the English directions are on page 67 and the Spanish directions are on 83. Sorry, I didn't mention that before. So just like the weeks previous, you have an SEL, a daily optimistic opener. You could do one for every day. Okay, and kind of it gets you set up, like you warms up your brain for the day. Okay, so the lessons start with the literacy. Just like last week, it had the reading log here and it has the days of the week and the goal. The goal is to read 20 minutes each day. Last time I said you can definitely split it up where your child reads 10 minutes and you read 10 minutes, or if your child is there with the stamina, you can have them read for 20 minutes. So again, there's options for the books, read alouds, anything that's on this website or anything you have around the house. The Washoe County Library has an app called Libby that you can read from. Any benchmark materials that your teacher has given you. If your teacher has given you a Clever badge, you can go on there, and any kind of newspapers or magazines. Okay. So that's that part. So it goes right into the writing, and the writing will be what we worked on last week. So last week you read an article about a stuffed animal called Ruff Ruff, and the child left it behind at a hotel, and the staff members took cute pictures of the stuffed animal enjoying the amenities and sent it back to the owner, the little girl. So then you had to read that article, annotate it, and then fill out a story map. Okay, so I filled out a story map and kind of what happened. So the title, the author, the settings, the characters, and then what happened beginning, middle, and end in the story or in the article. Okay, so you're going to take that information this week, okay? And that's what it says. Step 1, take the information from the map and write it on a rough draft piece of paper. Okay, like I did. Or you can type it in the computer, but for Kinder, probably to write it down would be great. And then step 2, you're going to read over your essay and use the checklist. So if you go to the checklist, that's going to be on page 97. Okay. So let's go there and use our checklist. Okay, so our checklist is here, and it's just asking you and your child, did you stay on topic? Are 2 events related? Any kind of organizational things, provide a sense of closure, all that stuff. Conventions are really popular. Make sure they're using capitals and lower cases and things like that. Okay, so make sure this is like your checklist. If it meets all of this criteria, then you're going to transform what you have here onto a better piece of paper. Okay, if it doesn't meet this criteria, then you have a chance to go through and revise it. Okay, until it meets this criteria. Okay, once you do, it has this piece of paper here that you can write out your final draft on, but I feel like that's not enough lines. So if you go ahead and take another piece of paper and write it better and draw a better picture and stuff, then that would be a final draft for sure. Okay, or type it or whatever. So there's that. Then you have an opportunity in step 4, because you just did step 2 and 3 with revising it. Step 4, you share it with somebody. Your teacher would love, love, love to listen to your story for sure. So make sure you call them up or Zoom with them and let them hear it, okay? If not, then a family member would definitely work. Okay, so that's for writing. Literacy foundational skills will be like the previous week. You're going to get a little decodable book in the packet. You're going to be reading those for days 1 and 3 and answer the questions that go along with it. And then 4 and 5, you're going to continue to read the story every day, and then practice the worksheets that are provided on page 99 through 102. Okay, so let's go to page 99. And today for kindergarten, or this week for kindergarten, you're going to go with Get the Gum. So you're going to have, your child's going to read the story front and back, okay? And it tells you exactly what to do on the days, all right? On days 4 and 5, like it said before, you're going to do the phonics pages. So maybe day 4 would be this, and day 5 would be this part, okay? In addition to reading the story that was provided, okay? This is really good to strengthen their decoding skills. I'm glad they put that in there. Okay, so that's for foundational skills. Math, again, is math tacto again, and of course there's different games and different things you need to do, but always do the show what you know on page 110 to 114 to kind of show what you did. Okay, so of course they have a main math tacto board here that you can cross off, and that keeps everything all in one place. And the games will be, this is for 1st and 2nd grade, okay, but you're more than welcome to try it out, of course. But our games for kindergarten are Addition War and Mystery Number. There's only 2 games here, so you're going to have to add 2 more games if you're going to play Blackout, okay, which is always an option that I've been telling you about. Okay, Addition War, there'll be a YouTube clip, and the Mystery Number, you're going to have to provide for yourself, okay? Read through the directions, and here's an example of what you would do, okay? All right, and actually the kindergartners have played this before in class with the Bridges curriculum. So it might be familiar to them. Okay, for the riddle part of Math Tacto, you are going to, for kindergarten, you're just talking about attributes of shapes. So there's only 2 here, so you're gonna have to do 2 more with this to constitute for Blackout if you want to do that. Okay, and you're just kind of like, for example, it says, I am a 2-dimensional shape. I have 4 corners and 4 equal sides. What shape am I? Can you draw me? So maybe during the draw me part, you can put that on the show what you know. Okay, so obviously that would be a square. Okay, I am not a 3-dimensional shape. I have 3 straight sides and 3 corners. What shape am I? Obviously a triangle. Okay, so you would have to do 2 more if you're going to do Blackout. Okay, really focus on the shape parts, corners, sides, 2-dimensional, not 3-dimensional, things like that. Okay, then for the problems of the week, these again are adapted from Bridges in our math curriculum. There are 3 here, okay, and you're going to do 1 more for Blackout. Okay, and definitely use the show what you know pages to draw those problems out. Okay, and then this is the last part. This is the how many. The attachment is on page 115 to 116. You're going to look at the picture and find as many ways you can answer the question. Okay, this is a little bit tricky, but let's take a look real quick. Okay, page 115. One second. Okay, here we go. So let's look at these questions really quick because this is new. This is brand new to us. So let's look at these questions. Okay, it says, how could you get started? And it says, what do you see that you can count? Okay, so look for groups that you can count that make it easier to figure out how many are all the cards collected together. Okay, immediately I noticed that I saw 5, 5, and 5, and I know 5 and 5 are 10. So I took care of 10 right here. Now I need to figure out another way, another solution that I could figure out another set of cards. Maybe I know 4 and 6 are 10, so I would circle that and write 10. And then now I have 10 plus 10 is 20. Okay. And then you're going to keep going to figure out how much is left and to see if you can find different groups. Okay. And then go through the questions. Does the placement of the objects give you ideas? Yeah, it does, because I have 2 5s together, and that makes my brain, it makes it easier for me to say, oh, 5 and 5 are 10. Okay. What groups do you notice? What equations could you write that describe how many? So that would be a good opportunity to put it on the Show What You Know page. Okay, so that's that for math. Just an example of to do Show What You Know real quick. For the problem solving one, I just did one problem. It was the one about the puppies. There were like 4 white and 4 brown. How many, or 5 brown, how many are together? So I put 4 plus 5 equals 9. So there's 9 puppies. Okay, that could be an example of it. Okay, just to give you just an example. Okay, all right. Okay, so now science this week will be about the world that we created last week in our packet. Okay, so you had to draw a world that it was completely up to you and how it looked. Okay, so then now you're going to start to see what kind of animals and living things and plants are in your world. Okay, for me, I just wrote like there's going to be pigs and dogs and giraffes and trees and grass and flowers in my world. Okay, because I like those things. So that's kind of like what you're going to be doing too. You're going to be adding your besides the people, it says what other plants and animals live there. So just draw some plants and animals that live in your world, okay? But there is a back to it. You're going to be thinking about outside of your imaginary city and what kind of different things live there. So I put like there's pumpkins and pine trees outside of my city, and there's birds and elephants outside of my city, okay? You're going to draw and list these things, okay? This is a really good opportunity for both the front and the back for your child to stretch out those words again, because they're not getting that that resource in school. So make sure that they are trying their best to stretch out their words. Okay. All right. Then finally, you're going to look back and you're going to answer these questions. What do plants and animals need to survive? What do your plants and animals that you have in your city need to survive? Okay. And how can your world provide those things? Maybe there's a little river that goes through your city. So they would get that water. Maybe there's caves for your animals or something like that would provide shelter. Okay. And then how might the plants and animals change your world to meet their needs? So if you don't have those, how might the plants and animals change your world to meet their needs? So they might need to create burrows or something if you have a rabbit or whatever. They might need to change to adapt to your world. And then think about all the things that we use in our lives. How does your world provide for these things? So then you're going to go through and think about, okay, well, I drink water, and so my world needs water, that kind of thing. Okay. So that will be your science. Okay, your social studies. You're going to be creating a time capsule this week, and you're going to be putting things that are in our time, and you're going to be putting it into a little time capsule, like maybe a little water bottle or something like that, or a little box or bag or whatever. And then it's basically saying, like, if somebody were to open it years from now, what would they learn from today's world? So I have a daughter, so I put like a bow, and we use pencils, and she has a student ID card. That would be kind of cool for her time capsule, Starbucks, and a mask, right? Because we're using masks now. So that would be a kind of a cool thing for somebody to open up years from now and see that we used all these things. That's basically what you're doing. So you're just going to draw down about 5 things that you want to put in your time capsule. And then step 3, you're going to put those things in there. Okay. So then we are starting to wrap up our SEL brain break. If your body and your mind needs a brain break, these are good opportunities to do one. There's 5 again, so that could be one for every day. And then music weekly activity, that will be on the last part of your packet. So last week we did an experiment here, and then this week we're going to do this experiment and then choose an activity from here. Okay, so this week it says, does hot and cold water sound different when poured into glasses of the same size? And you're going to guess yes or no and why. So it's like a hypothesis. And then you're going to actually do the activity. Okay, and then test someone, do your experiment for somebody and see if they can guess the same thing you did. Okay, after that, then you're going to pick one additional activity from here that you haven't done last week. Okay, and that will be the music for this week. Also, though, Mr. Benson has his music channel that I'll link below. Okay, so you can always go to that and do his lessons that he has for that week. Okay, and then we have our reflective closer. You know, just to kind of reflect on your day and how it felt. Things like that. Okay, so you can obviously do one for each day, or you can skip around and maybe do this one on Monday and this one on Tuesday and so on. Okay, I think that is it. Yep, and then it starts with the Spanish directions. If you have any questions, please ask your teacher. They would love to hear your little story that you have made from the stuffed animal that got lost at the hotel. Okay, so have a great day. And again, we miss you so much, and we wish we were there to give you a big hug, and just stay safe out there. All right, bye.